Hello again, it's 12/5/2021 and today we're going to do some graphics. Let's first check out the information that I've got. In this particular instance, this file for the complex particle frequencies, which is going to be an additional project for neutrality, is getting pretty big, so I might have to split it up into 2 or 3 projects. But basically I always start with information about the phenomena, and then I sort of give it titles like I do with air evolution. I give it titles that tell me, okay, I'm going to focus on this particular phenomenon, that particular phenomenon. This one is basic and complex particle frequency, and you can't see it here because it's too small. Let me see if I can blow it up here to maybe where you can see it on the camera. Alright, so here I didn't get a chance to say this, but part of the light speed discovery with the 5 numerality was I was tracking CNF particles and their frequencies. They're not supposed to process energy bits, but I think what's happening is what I'm calling is particle jam, and these CNF particles get caught in these stars. Well, not caught, but they're originally CP particles or protons, which lose their ability from overheating in the sun to process energy bits. However, I think they only lose the majority of their processing power. And what I'm seeing from signality is that they get as low as 5 hertz, and around 500 hertz, they then go through what I call the recharging process and can become CP particles again. So that's something I'm also working on. But that 5 numerality, in signality, what this represents actually is changing people's opinions from neutral or not caring to having a positive attitude, and then often it's tied to the singular life path because of IP transference every 500 years. So that's what I'm working on as well, but I'm not going to do the graphic for that right now. Today I'm going to do, I'm going to show you one from the complex light particles and the exit frequencies, the jump frequencies and exit frequencies that most likely will lead to light speed technology. So that's pretty interesting. But this thing is pretty large, this file, and I always check the information ahead of time to see if there's something new that I want to do with the graphics, or if I want to, how many of the graphics I want to create. I'm only going to show one graphic creation with you guys just so you see the process of it. But yeah, I just usually go through here and take a look at what I got. This is the file and the investigation. It's at like 50 pages without even doing signality yet for all these things, and without doing a lot of reality work, checking, well, lots of checking, and lots of numbers in here. Like here's complex light particle frequency increase. It says the shell frequency is 20 terahertz, meaning when a CN particle jumps to another, I should probably, let me increase the size of that so you can just see what that looks like. Yeah, you can't really see it very well, but the CL particle frequency increase when it's at there's a thing there. When it's at one particular CN particle is at a shell and jumps to another, it then releases a photon or a CL particle. That's what we call them at QRI. And basically, every time they leap, it's going to be 20 trillion hertz or 20 terahertz for that CP. Sorry, for that complex light particle to be released. It does so at 20 terahertz, and that's from an increase, particle frequency increase, PFI, of 20,000 hertz for a CN particle jumping to another shell. So there's a ratio of 1 to 1 billion, which is symbolized by the letter formation, I believe what they call a diphthong, of AI, because of 2 vowels there. So A being the first letter and I being the ninth. So that represents that. And then here we have the exit frequency, which I'll go ahead and see if I can make larger. Okay. So the exit frequency is 60 terahertz. And what that basically means is that when a CN particle is exiting a complex unit or an atom, it goes 60,000 hertz faster. And what that means for the complex light particle is that it's going to go about 60 terahertz faster, because of that ratio of 1 to 1 billion. And I'll fix all these later as far as sizes go. I have the jump ratio here, which I put in the YouTube. I don't call it a synchronization playlist. I don't do those anymore. But there's a little bit of synchronicity in there with the 7 videos and the 12 that I decided on, including, but nothing official. Where I was doing it. I used to do those things for days and days. Have like a whole week set out for those things. But this life form would the PLF would start hurting people and doing all this crazy stuff. So I don't do it on that way anymore. I think it was trying to get me to just post everything up on the same day and try to break the routine. So I don't do that anymore. I just do little tiny things so that people can stay on board with this thing and figure out what they need to know about population control from this life form, and how it relates to natural law. And when the book comes out, it makes it very easy to see how this life form is influencing people. And also it helps for scientific purposes. In this case, it could lead to light speed technology. So the jump ratio is the ratio of the CN particle to the CL particle, as far as the difference in frequency. And this is prior to the jump, the frequency, even though it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm not going to explain it here, but there are basically 2 jump ratios. One, the jump ratio of the CN particle within the shell, and then to the CL particle that would be released if it jumped from the shell. And then the second jump ratio, which I haven't included, which is the jump ratio of the CN particle as it is jumping from the shell in relation to the CL particle as the CN particle is jumping from the shell. It's complex, but essentially I used, because the signality was pretty heavy, I used the jump ratio, the first jump ratio, for the Joel Souza lawsuit he got shot by Alec Baldwin recently, and the ratio is 1 to 840 million in the point shell, and it's like the only one of them, or sorry, there's 2 of them. There are 2 of them where it's exact, where the ratio is exact, and there are, let's see, 2 of them where it's repeating, the information repeats. In the orange shell and in the mountain shell, it repeats the information. Like, for instance, in the orange shell, it's 1 to 809,523,809.523809, and it just goes on like that. And the same is true for the mountain shell, where it's 1 to 692,307,692.307692, and it repeats in these very weird ways. So the jump ratio is I just believe that's what that Souza lawsuit is about, and the fact that it's before the jump might say something about the agreement, whether he's going to get agreement on that with his lawsuit. So these are things I'm just checking. I have like B here for B standing for the 2 particles, CN and CL, that we're talking about with these jumping and exit frequencies. And I'm going to do a Christmas playlist as well, but not with videos, just with the songs, and because they're all about light speed technology. I just noticed that, and so I'm going to include that in there as well. And it'll also give me a chance to show a lot of the other signality and things that I couldn't show in the 5,000 word description for the YouTube thing. which I may delete later. I don't know. But yeah, it has all that stuff going on. Just gonna skip past this stuff. See what I got here. The CN to CL PFI ratio is what I called it, and that's the 1 to 1 billion hertz, often symbolized by AI. That's what you're seeing here in this blur. CL beam juncture stuff, and then the shell gaps. This is the CN particle stuff from the first half of this. So what I might do is just split it up into two projects. One for the shell gaps and the frequencies of the CN particles, and one for the frequencies of CL particles. So this has all that information, which we're not going to have to use here in this graphic, so I'll skip past it. And particle wave duality, that was what I'm also working on with those wavelengths and trying to figure out, you know, where they match up. 60,000 hertz is the exit frequency for those guys. Here's all my documentation on helium and the complex units, and some more stuff on the elements that I see. So yeah, I mean it's quite a bit of stuff. Beryllium 9 has some pretty interesting signality with it. Beryllium is the fourth element after lithium, and the next one is boron. So it has a lot of interesting stuff in there. I'm not going to get into it here, but basically that's all the stuff that I have with it. I mean, it gets long, so, but this is the kind of stuff that feeds into the graphics that I'm now going to create. So I'll see you there in just a second. Alright, so now we're to the section where I'm going to start actually making one of these graphics that I use for my books. It would be nice to have a lot of money and be able to pay for graphics designs and things like that, but at this point in time I just use paint and try to be creative with it, try to make it look colorful and bright, and we'll see if this thing works out. So it looks like they started me off with a really tiny piece, so we'll go ahead and resize that. I've gotten pretty good at learning about this thing and how to make this thing work. So I've looked at the information. Now I can go ahead and go in here and start making something. I almost always start with a black background because it's just easier to use. A lot of stuff in the vacuum of space is black, so it all kind of works out like that. So today we're doing, let's see, exit frequencies and particle frequencies of the CN particles. So first I try to envision it in my mind, what we're talking about. In this case we're talking about three things: CP particles, CN particles, and CL particles. So protons, neutrons, protons, electrons, and photons. So we'll go ahead and start off with a proton here, and we'll fill that guy in. I try to keep it consistent, making one thing look like the same thing over and over again. And I think what I'm going to do is try to get as many ideas as possible here. So we're going to start with the first electron in the K shell. So I'm just going to use different colors here. The closest thing to red is orange, so I guess I'll use that. We'll go ahead and put a CN particle here. We'll fill that guy in. That's what the K shell. Then we got the killer shell. And we'll try to get another one here for the line shell. Keep moving along. Sometimes this work is kind of tedious, but it's fine. It does help a lot to look at graphics and just be able to say, okay, this is what's going on here. With science, sometimes it's just a matter of being able to picture the concepts in your mind. So pictures do a great deal for being able to understand, science. I can't say how much easier it is for me to look through my graphics and go, okay, I remember what I was doing here. Alright, so we got what? The killer, the line, the mountain, the next, the orange, even though it's purple here, and the question shell. So these will be our CN particles. Alright. And I'm not going to label them yet. We'll go ahead and label those another time. So now we need to symbolize them jumping. So how do we do that? Here's what okay, so what I'm going to do, I guess, is we use arrows. This is another thing. When it comes to science, you have to sometimes use your brain to figure out how to depict it. And that sometimes tells you how much you know or don't know about a particular subject as well. So it's sort of like music, being able to play an instrument as well as being able to write a song. It just sort of helps to do that. So I guess for the jump frequencies, we'll have an arrow going like that. And then an arrow going, I'll try to use the same color here. We'll get a blue guy. I think it's this blue. Okay. Looking good, looking good. Oops, no, I did it wrong. Let's see. Control Z. Oh, how do you undo this thing? Here we go. Undo, undo. So it's not regular. Here we go. That going there. That looks a little off. Try that again. Yeah, that looks better. So yeah, you want to try to get the spacing right on these things. I mean, if I were an artist, I could draw this stuff, but it just would take too much time to learn how to draw and do all this stuff properly, I guess. So these are arrows. I don't know if you can see them as well. Maybe if I zoom in on this guy. It's about as far as it goes. I don't know if you can see them better. But these guys are arrows. I'm going to put underneath them wording, and that should be enough to get the point across that those guys are jumping. Alright, so it looks like the color's off. This is one of those classic moments where an ambulance goes by in the downtown area. That'll happen a lot if we're in these sessions, so get used to it. Welcome to downtown San Diego. Alright, so these will represent the jump frequencies. And then we're going to have now exit frequencies. So how do we depict that? Let's go with a sideways one. Trying to think if that looks good. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll work. No. I know what I'm going to do here. We're going to do that one longer. Because that way we know we're exiting this complex unit. So there's that one. I'm going to go ahead and fill these in as well. That way it looks awesome. On the camera, it's not picking up the purple for some reason. it's only picking up blue, but this is actually purple right here. And we got another one of these. We did a sideways arrow. Make it even longer, that way the point is made. About the same length, that's fine. Doesn't have to be incredibly. Why is this not filling? There it goes. Alright. It's not terribly exciting to build these things sometimes, but it can be kind of fun. Just takes a lot of patience, sometimes a lot of repetition. With something like this, the repetition is insane. It just continues to force you to focus on the same thing. But again, it's good because while you're doing this, you're also thinking about the scientific, aspect of what you're doing, and it makes you even more familiar with the concept that you're trying to depict. So all these things that I do in these sessions, they actually make it easier for me to remember where I was. And culinary scholarship can go pretty fast at times, to where you're moving from one thing to the next thing, and have to remember, okay, wait a minute, what's, the signality over here or the numerality over there, and how do I, remember that? Okay, so we have a sort of a picture here, and now it looks a little bit convoluted. So what I'm going to do is start doing the numbers and the lettering. So we'll put up here, this represents, first of all, let's change this font. We don't need italics. We'll call it exit frequencies here, and we'll put it in yellow because that's the color of photons. So we got exit frequencies, use an abbreviation there, exit frequencies, and we got, so how do I get this? The other part is the spacing on these guys can make it harder or easier. Here goes one of my books. Makes it harder or easier to understand the graphic. With these jump frequencies, I think what I'll do, usually when we think of jumping, I think of green things for some reason, like a frog. So I'm going to make it green. And where to put it though? How about we do it? Oh man. Maybe if I put it down here, but that seems so lame. I think what I'll do, think it. I could do one of those, like an acrostic thing, but sometimes in paint it doesn't look too good. Well, yeah, let's try it. We'll go with a J, U, M, P. And let's see if that goes. Jump. That coloring is kind of bad. Let's give it a brighter green. It's going to conflict with the composition though. And we'll put it in pink. Jump. Yeah, that looks better. Would that be better? Actually, I know what I'll do. We'll do it like that, and then we'll do like a little box. Little add-on here. Put that in the green that we were looking for. Let's see if we can fit the word frequency in there. Because they give off light particles when they jump and when they exit from a complex unit, a CU. So I have to lower the size of this guy here, probably to 12, really low. FREQ. I know you can't see that in the thing, in the camera, but we can see it fairly clearly here. Put a period at the end of that. Actually, I kind of want to put those in caps, just so it's easier to read. That looks like I need to make it smaller then. Actually, you can take out the bold. Nope, it needs the bold. Alright, how does that look? Jump frequency. I cannot read the frequency with that gigantic box, so we're going to undo that. We're going to do the frequency thing first. FREQ dot. And maybe we'll do a pair of lines. Going all the way up to the M. Jump frequency. These sessions can get very long. Sometimes it's hard to keep this thing straight with a mouse. Usually I do this with my hand, so it's easier. Jump frequency. It looks good, but there's still something weird about that. So I'm going to move this all the way beneath there. So it sort of looks like the top half is jumping over the thing. That's kind of cool. Let me try to zoom in here. Or zoom. You can't see. Well, yeah, you can see it about that far. Doesn't zoom any better than that. Okay, so there's that. It looks kind of cool. And now we just need the numbers for these guys. So the question is, how do I put the numbers in there? And the answer to that is, I don't have a clue. Let me think. Well, I suppose we could put it at the end of these guys and get started with that. So we'll go yellow. We have the exit frequency is 60 terahertz, more than the jump frequency. So in the question shell here, it's going to be 125 terahertz. We'll just put tera. Now we're going to have to increase the size of this guy. That's pretty big. Maybe a little too big. $125 tera, but then again, how do you know? Okay. We're going to go with the colors again. Purple. We're going to make this smaller. Put it at 14, and we'll make it with sylphin. Actually, I can't. Well, yeah, I can type it in. Oh, I guess it doesn't recognize that one, so we'll take. What about Tahoma? Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so you got 125 terahertz there. I should have copied it. What we're going to do, it's going to be 20 terahertz less each time. Going downward. So that's going to make it a lot easier as far as the math goes and remembering goes. And these colors will make it very easy to follow along with what's going on. So that's 105 terahertz for the, what is it, the point shell. We have 85 terahertz as an exit frequency for the orange shell. Put this in yellow. Put this in light blue. We got to move it over just a little bit. Alright, let's see with the graphic here. 65 terahertz. And that's for what? The questions, points, orange. The next shell. Ooh. And 45, getting to the end here for this guy. Don't have to change any of the coloring on that one. And then finally 25 terahertz. As the exit frequency. Wait a minute. Oh, bummer. Those are the jump frequencies. Wait a minute. Question, points, orange, next, mountain. Killer. No. Lying and killer. There's not enough. Oh, son of a biatch. There's not enough things here. Oh. Well. Alright, so it looks like I have some fixing to do. I accidentally put only 6 shells on this guy, so that's a bummer, but luckily with paint, and this is why I like using paint, you can fix things. I can change this. So I'm going to take this exit frequency thing, I'm going to move it way the hell up here. Then I can take this guy, fill in the space, add one more particle here. We're going to make it pink, but a regular sort of pink. And we'll put that guy right here. Bam. Got the pink going on there. Again, you can't really see with the camera, which is a bummer. That's fine. And then we're going to do another line here. Move this thing down a little bit. Okay. Now, I need you to do another arrow as well. Okay. Good thing I didn't label the shells yet, but if I had, that probably would not have happened. Okay, so I don't know what I was thinking with 125 terahertz here. Alright, so I'm going to... The good thing is I only have to delete... Well, no. I should probably delete the whole thing. So we'll go here, we'll hit the delete button. And then we'll go, actually I might be able to do all this in one. Take this, hit the delete, take this, you can get all three of these, alright. Alright, so, now, once again, the exit frequency is, for the Q shells, the jump frequency is 125. The exit frequency starts at 185. So we start it all over again. 185 tera. Put the tera in yellow. Put the number in the same color pink. And there we got it. Now we're going to go 165 terahertz. The exit frequency for this guy being the point shell, and it's a different shade of that pink over there, more like a fuchsia color, which you can't really see with the camera, but it's there. So that's 165. We have, this isn't the prettiest picture that I've made, but it's not bad. It's got a lot of information. That's how we do things in QRI. Lots of information all the time. Science and music and history and all facets of population control. That's what Quinter Scholarship is. It's population control, which is due to the AL body and energy bit processing. This is the existential side, and the sentential side is all the states of awareness that are associated with it. So that's how that goes. 145 terahertz for the, counting it down, that's questions, points, orange, and then, yeah, 145 terahertz for the orange shell apparently. For the exit frequency, meaning we can create light speed with that. And most likely someday these frequencies will be used for different speeds of light speed, you know, PS1, PS2, PS3. So who knows? I mean, maybe nowhere in the vacuum of space has anybody yet with machinery developed light speed technology. So this is going to be pretty interesting. You know, we're really getting close here to the future. And hopefully it goes smoothly. I've seen some pretty weird stuff with the signality about lightspeed technology, and really, you know, it's because of how likely people can get killed doing it. I think in the film After Hours, which was released in 1985, symbolic of the Q shell, and starring Roseanne Arquette with a Q in her name. It shows her as a burn victim, and and I think it's related to Lightspeed technology. He looks at some photos and he's grossed out, the main character in that one. And I think that's in reference to the fact that we could really look, we could get crisped up or burnt up in a crash through Lightspeed technology not being able to control it properly. There's another siren. As I was saying, you hear that a lot here in the downtown area. So, those are the exit frequencies, and then I'm going to wait till this siren shuts up. Now it's looking a little bit more like my material. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. I just have to now symbolize the photons, so I'm going to go ahead and make those. Whoops. Why? Oh, you know what? No. I can do that better, just put it on top. One photon would be fine. Or CL particle. What is that? What is that? Is that a mistake? Gone now. Alright, so now we have to figure out the jump frequencies of these guys. And how does one do that? Let me think. So we got the jump frequency. We have the exit frequencies, which is pretty easy. And the jump frequency. It's going to be 60 terahertz less. And I'm not certain if the jump frequency of these CL particles would allow for Lightspeed technology, but I definitely know that the signality favors the exit frequency for Lightspeed. So these are CN particles, and now we have to make it seem like there are CL particles coming off them. So I'm going to use one of these crazy lines. Use the yellow again. See if I can make that look like that. Alrighty. And let's get a yellow circle for the CL particle again. I don't know why I'm making it larger. Okay, let's keep to the science here. CL particles are 10 to the negative 16 meters cubed, and the CN particles are 10 to the negative 13 meters cubed. Did it do that again? What in the heck is going on here? Okay, so the jump frequencies are right here. And we need to make a list, so we're going to make it underneath this guy. And so let's do a box for that, so that way people don't get confused. What the hell is that? Here we go. Okay. And we're going to make these things. Let's go ahead and divide this up. Why did I do that? No, it's the wrong color. Undo. I'll use that one right there. It just did a box. What in the hay atoms? Here we go. I forget what that guy's name is who did the paintings. He was recently in the news, and I do not remember his name. But this is what that reminds me of. And there was supposedly some drama about his life off the camera. I just don't know if a lot of stuff is accurate with people's lives like that. I would take the time to look it up right now. Oh, no. But I can't. It would be a lot cooler if I were actually painting this stuff, though. I was doing videos with what was I saying? I was doing videos before, and with a canvas sort of thing, or a whiteboard. But the drawings were very basic and often barely expressed the content of what I was saying. Still, it was kind of fun. I deleted those videos because it's just too much science. It looked better in a book, and I just wanted to get people caught up. If it were that that people can see the stuff in the LDL, then that's such a large amount of people, and the science is just so complex that it's just easier to show people, how to understand the origin of life, and so that's what I did. All right, so we're gonna go with the text now, and the first one is what, 125 terahertz, and looks like it's not enough space, so I'm gonna delete the tera part and just make it of an appropriate size to fit. Yeah, you can kind of see the 125, but not really. That's kind of a bummer there. It looks like it's harder to see than I want it to be. So I'm going to have to undo this and start moving these guys down. Bummer. So we take this. Oops. We take this. Move it down. No, that's not gonna work. Oh no. How do we do this? We take part of it and move it down. Where's the line here? Here we go. Okay, well that's going to look pretty bad. So what we'll do instead is fill in this gap, and we'll start getting rid of that stuff. So instead, we're going to have little lines here. And that's why it's going to look like that. That's like the third siren since I've been doing this for about 10 minutes. Welcome to downtown, people. Land of the gosh dang fire truck people. Ambulance and the fire truck, the firemen. Okay. Again, we're gonna have to get rid of that guy. Okay. Still working on it. I probably could just delete this thing and try it over, but why do that when you can fix something? Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna try this again. Forget it. This is just too bad. Alrighty then. Delete. Here we go again. Okay. There's one. There's two. And three. And four. And 6. And then we can make the floor orange. Because I didn't do it right. Perfect. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get these guys going as well. Good thing about paint is you can overlap it a bunch of times. You don't even know that it was all messed up. Alright, let's try this again. We have the numbers 125 tera. And we can do a larger font here. Where is the font? It's supposed to be, here we go. We go with 18 maybe? That's too big. 14 maybe? I think that's gonna do it. Yes. With that pink. And it's gonna be 105. Tera for the point shell. Put that in yellow. Put that in purple or fuchsia rather than pink. Looks good. 85 terahertz. For this guy. The jump frequency of the orange shell, which looks pretty nice. Oops. 65 terahertz for the jump frequency of the next shell. And see, this is a lot easier to study. We got jump frequencies and exit frequencies, and it just looks a lot cleaner this way. I mean, you can just sit there studying that and have it in about 5 minutes. Whereas trying to read it off a piece of paper, it just takes forever to get all the images in your mind accurate. And it looks like I made this one a little too... Oh no, that's good. It's going to fit. Alright. 45 terahertz for the jump frequency for the mountain shell. I'm going to go 25 terahertz for the lying shell. And luckily, since the space is smaller here, we only need a single digit, 5 terahertz in the killer shell. Put that in orange. Alright, that looks very clean. Pretty clean, pretty clean. A lot of numbers there. And there's a little bit of extra space. So I'm going to fill in this top portion. With a little bit of that. And go ahead and fill that in. That looks better. Yeah. So there's that guy. And now what else do we want to say about this thing? Oh, Microsoft is having problems. What else do we need on this thing? Well, we need to know what's going on here. So these guys are CL particles. Let's go ahead and label that. CL complex light particles. an arrow so people know what I'm talking about here. And since we're going up, we're going to do one of those guys. Fill it in maybe with this pink. See if that does anything interesting. Nope. So I guess we'll fill it in with red. Maybe that'll give it some shine. Yeah, that looks cool. Alright. So there's that guy. It's still sort of in a weird position, so I'm going to go ahead and move it over. Oh, I didn't grab the whole thing. Uh-oh. I'm still not getting the whole thing. Gosh. That's better. Okay, that looks a lot cleaner. CO particles going that way. And then we have to do it here. So how do I... Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to do the squiggly line thing again. Grab a yellow thing. And now we have to symbolize that this is what's happening here. So we're going to go here with it. And we're going to bring it here. Now. That looks weird. It looks like I should have a line going toward the no. We need to do it up like this. What? Oh, I just did something. Alright, maybe just put it all the way to here. And of course that's too long, so shorten it up. Bam! That looks weird. There's something weird about that. It's like doubling up here. Okay, let me undo. So we'll try to get it out of this thing, so we'll make that our focus. Alright. Alright, so that looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and keep within that box. And it looks like what? The jump frequency is in fluorescent pink. So we use that there. And the exit frequency is still in yellow, so I guess we'll just but we have that green thing on top of it, so I'm going to use that there. Maybe put an underline here. Nope, it doesn't look good. We will put a different color there. Or you know what? We'll put this in that's bland. Finding a color. Here we go. Got fluorescent pink. Got green. Put this in yellow. 20,000 hertz. There's some vocabulary there. Complex unit shell. Jump frequency. We got here. The jump frequency of CN particles is 20,000 hertz greater than the stable frequency used to remain within a complex unit shell. Okay. Moreover, the exit frequency of CN particles causes the radiation of CL particles at higher levels of energy. Alright. So that doesn't really cover. Well, okay. Yeah, let's see here. All right. Yeah, it kind of doesn't cover these numbers, what those numbers mean. Thinking. So I guess the CL particles are 5, 25. The jump frequency of CM particles is 20,000 Hz greater than the stable frequency when used to remain within a complex unit shell. More, the exit frequency of CM particles causes the radiation of CL particles at higher levels of energy. CL particles increase by 20 terahertz when CM particles leap to each farther shell, 60 terahertz when exiting the complex unit. Yeah. It's perfectly fine. Okay, so that's going to pretty much do it here for the graphic. And I guess you guys now see what it looks like when I'm making these things step by step. Alright, see you next time.